I woke up at 2 o'clock and he had his hands clenched and he was like really struggling, and I immediately sprung up and went to his side of the bed, and I feel his pulse and I don't feel anything, and he's just not taking a breath. Called 911 and I said, I was in such a hurry, I said, no, you got to come here quickly. He says, you have to do CPR, you cannot do it on the bed, so you got to pull him off the bed. Somehow I pulled him off, he literally fell on the floor. And then the paramedic said, okay, let's start. I think it was about 8 or 9 minutes. And I saw the red light outside.
When we arrived on scene, the patient was not breathing and did not have a pulse. We determined the patient was having a heart attack, and we called ahead to the hospital to let the doctor know what we were coming in with.
It's very important in situations like that. Every second counts, so any preparation that the emergency department can take prior to our arrival to improve patient outcome is critical.
The ambulance has the ability to activate the cath lab immediately. The cath lab is a radiology-equipped suite that's outlined and maintained to OR standards. And it is a procedural area where interventional cardiologists perform a test that allows us to see the arteries on a beating heart. It's an operating room where we don't make big incisions with scalpels. We make small holes with needles and put small tubes inside and then do all the work to those small tubes.
The triage system in Emerge is that if you have or they consider you have a heart problem, you're going to be seen very quickly.
I took some pictures of his heart arteries. It's called a coronary angiogram, and found a blocked coronary artery that was responsible for his heart attack. So I was able to open that with a stent. The pressures in his heart were very high. I inserted a pump up through the aorta. He was very unstable and very sick. I mean, this is as sick as people get.
If you go from the data that we'd received at that point in time, you would have predicted really quite a poor prognosis. So normally your heart pumps 50 to 70% of the blood in the heart out with each beat. In this case, at the time of the cardiac arrest and by the time he got to the cath lab, the pumping function was in the 10 to 15% range. So extraordinarily low for someone who had been well when they'd gone to bed. Several occasions I didn't think he was going to be here with us.
3 to 5% of the people who have a cardiac arrest outside the hospital have a normal recovery.
You know, the worst case scenario is the patient doesn't survive, and that's, you know, the most probably common scenario. The outcomes, you know, can involve also a spectrum of things from significant heart damage to neurological injury, and often we see a combination of those things. In this patient scenario, you know, things worked out very well where there was no neurological injury, no significant damage to the heart muscle, and so a very tremendous outcome, really.
In a healthcare system, everybody is part of that machinery. So whether your part is smaller or bigger is important, essential. Because if that's missing, I think the outcome is a little different.
Probably the patient's wife gets the vast majority of the credit, having recognized what's happened and activated the EHS promptly, followed the instructions of EHS. I think the second crucial thing is the team of nurses, in particular in the cath lab and the CCU, who are able to provide expert care to meet all the needs of the patient and to see things through.
I think we should be proud of all the best care possible is happening here at the QE2. And I'm an example of that. The person and patient in this story is me, Ramesh Shukla. I just wanted to talk about the care, the excellent care I got, and the people involved in my care. I want to thank them, and I know they do this job every day.
I'm very grateful to the people who worked and who made it possible for Ramesh to come home.
It's not one person, it's a team effort. From the 911 call to the paramedics to the ER, doctors and nurses, and the cath lab and the cardiologist, and the rehab people who helped me recover. I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart.
It's very rewarding. I'm very proud of the job that we do as paramedics, and to know that the patient still has a very active and healthy lifestyle and is able to spend time with his wife, children, grandchildren, and family. That means so much to us.
When you get that one rewarding incident, and I'll remember it for the rest of my career.
Heart disease, as you know, is the #1 cause of morbidity, mortality in Western society. Genetics played an important role. and I'm the big example of that. I was healthy, I used to run, I'm not overweight, no diabetes, no high blood pressure, normal cholesterol, but I have family history. If you do have heart disease, I think a good timely intervention can make a huge difference. This is my story, and I think I just want to tell you that this miracle happens almost every day at the QE2.